I grew up in an Italian family, and we were taught that you should always have a protein, a vegetable, and a carb with every meal. And if I had, say, shrimp scampi, I couldn't just have it by itself. I had to have something with it, rice or pasta. Hello, this is Lorraine, and welcome to Healthy Living, Spirit, Soul, and Body. So today I am going to be talking about how to break the habit of having carbs with every meal, okay? I can honestly attest that I was in that habit, and it wasn't easy to break. It's not going to ruin your meal if you don't have carbs. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about why it's good to cut your carbs or change the carbs that you're using now, okay? So today I am going to be making a low-carb meal, and it's called Garlic Meatballs and Lemon Zucchini Noodles. So obviously instead of the pasta, we're going to be using zucchini noodles. So the first step to this meal is we're going to make some turkey meatballs. So obviously I have the most lean turkey, ground turkey that you can get, 97% lean, and there's a couple of things I'm going to put in it, and I'm going to put the recipe in the description, okay? So if you want it later, go ahead and try it out. So we have garlic powder, cilantro, oregano, basil, and then salt and pepper. We also put some chicken bouillon in for a little flavor, I guess, and we're going to put some part skim mozzarella. So those are our ingredients for our turkey meatballs. Okay, so now we're gonna cook our turkey meatballs. And the recipe calls for 1.5 tablespoons of butter, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna only use a tablespoon. I really don't have a problem with butter as long as it's not a ridiculous amount. The flavor of the butter is part of the meal, okay? You probably could substitute it with olive oil, but it just wouldn't taste the same. So I'm gonna use the butter, but I'm just gonna use a little bit less than they call for. Usually recipes call for a little bit more than it really needs. So I'm gonna put this on medium-low heat. So between 4 and 5 probably, and this is gonna melt a little bit. The butter, I mean. So the butter is melted, and now I'm gonna add the turkey meatballs. So here we go. And it says to cook them between 8 and 10 minutes. So we're gonna put them in here, and it says to cook them thoroughly. So, rotate them and make sure they're cooked all the way through. There's nothing worse than a meatball that's raw on the inside, right? Cooked on medium-low temperature for 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm done with my dish. I added the meatballs, the turkey meatballs, in with the zucchini noodles. I had them cook for about 3 minutes. I put the timer on so I wouldn't overcook them, and they look good. Okay, so I'm excited. It smells really good, and I'm gonna give it a taste test. And the best part about this meal is that I did not have to use carbs. So now that I've had the meal, I would like to say that the turkey meatballs were a little dry, and I think that's because I used the 97% lean. I would suggest, if you do make the meal, to go with the 93%. I think it would have more juices, and I think it would make the meal a little bit better. So I hope you really enjoyed my low-carb meal. This one, I did use a substitute, and I put zucchini noodles instead of pasta. It's just a good practice to get into. You'll find that your waistline will like it better, and your energy level will like it better, and overall it's just a good healthy habit to get into. So you may ask me, why is it so important to break the carb habit, the habit of having carbs in every meal? So let me just say something right off the bat. Obviously, every carb is not made the same. Some carbs are better to eat and to have on a regular basis based on the glycemic index, okay? And you might say, Lorraine, what is the glycemic index? Well, the glycemic index is a number that measures how fast food is broken up and turned into sugar in your body. So if you have something like white bread, which has a higher glycemic index than whole wheat bread, that bread is going to be broken down very quick, and it's going to cause your insulin levels to spike. Your insulin levels spike because it needs more insulin to to break down the carbs into sugar, because it's breaking down quicker than if you had whole wheat bread. So when you're eating low glycemic carbs or low glycemic foods in general, your insulin level will stay at an even keel. And that is a very healthy way to live. That's what your goal should be. When your insulin levels are at even keel, it's not putting any extra pressure on your body to produce insulin. It's not going to have your insulin levels spike. So, you know, what happens when your insulin levels spike, it will cause you to get on a high and then crash. Energy level will crash, and sometimes when that happens, you will feel hungry again and you'll start eating when you're not even hungry. This is why you want to only eat certain carbs on a regular basis. So the four carbs that you want to really shy away from and eliminate from your diet are basic white bread, basic pasta, basic rice, and basic potatoes. So all of them really have a substitute that you should start incorporating into your life or into your meals. So like for instance, bread, rather than having white bread, there's all kinds of different, they make Ezekiel bread, which is really good, or just even having just whole wheat bread is better than regular white bread. As far as pasta goes, there's a lot of different pasta alternatives, you could say. Obviously, there's the zucchini noodles that I use with today's meal, but there's also pasta made from chickpeas or lentil pasta and black bean pasta I've even seen. So that's a really good substitute to incorporate into your meals instead of regular pasta. The other thing is rice, okay, regular white rice. You could have brown rice, which is going to be better, or you could have the cauliflower rice, which is actually really a good substitute because cauliflower doesn't have much of a taste, and just like rice doesn't have much of a taste, it will soak up the juices or whatever. It will help the meal, really, if you really need something to give your meal a little bit more substance, okay? And lastly, potatoes. Now, they haven't yet come up with fake potatoes. However, you could have sweet potatoes instead of regular white potatoes. I know now a lot of places when you go out to eat have sweet potato fries, and that's a really good substitute. So I just thought I would just share with you just a different way of thinking about making your meals and a different way of eating, to really try to eliminate those 4 basic carbs from your diet. It might take some getting used to, and like I said, really, sometimes you don't need any of these to have a good healthy meal. So I'm just encouraging you to think about those things and make some changes just to get yourself eating in a more healthy way. And of course, the big trade-off to this is it will really help you lose weight. Really, You don't want to continue eating high glycemic foods because, like I said, a lot of times your sugars spike and then they crash and you feel like you're hungry even though you're not, and you'll go ahead and eat, and it creates a very vicious cycle. So, okay, I hope this helped you. I hope it made you think a little bit differently about the meals that you make when you're thinking about your meal preparation, to think of some alternatives, and also think about not putting, the carb or carb substitute into your meal at all. Okay, so I hope this helped you. I hope you're enjoying my channel. I will try to put something out there to help you think, maybe think a little bit differently about a subject, and just to help you live healthy spirit, soul, and body. Okay, well listen, you have a great week. And great talking to you, and share my channels. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.